Hello and welcome to Let's Be Real About It, where we are real about real life issues. I am your host, Mildred Towns. Our disclaimer is that this is a no holds barred zone. Therefore, some of the contents of the show may be offensive to some, but that is not the intent of the show. Uh, I just want to give special thanks to all the sponsors who help sponsor this show. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I'm excited about my guest tonight, so I just want to go ahead and just get her on. Evangelist Katrina Brown. Katrina, Evangelist Brown, welcome to Let's Be Real About It. How are you?
I am fine. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I am doing wonderful. I'm so excited about you coming on the show tonight, sharing your story, not only with just me, to all our listening viewers around the world. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And the title of the show tonight is Mercy Saved Me. For surely the mercy of God has been with you through all that
Yeah.
you have experienced and all that you have gone through. The mercy of God has truly, truly, truly been with you. I will get you to go ahead and just introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Evangelist Katrina Brown. I've been in the ministry for 22 years. I'm a mother of two, and this past Sunday, my oldest, that's in the U.S. Army, graduated from college. And in June, my baby girl will graduate from high school. And I'm the youngest of six. I'm number four. And I love God and I love God's people. And serving the community is what brings me the most joy every Christmas Eve. Last December was my 10th year where I collect donations and I go out and I feed the homeless at Christmas Eve, and they get food and toiletries and goodies and socks and hats and gloves. And we just show them the love of Christ, and we show them the love of humanity. We want them to know, even at Christmas Eve, you're on the mind of God and you're on the mind of people. And
Amen.
so um, that's that's who I am.
Well, we just want to say congratulations to your son and congratulations to your daughter, for a job well done and graduating from college, graduating from high school. That's an accomplishment. Because I know what it's like to go to college, girl. We were racking my brain in college. So, congratulations to your two children, in their accomplishments. Um, you grew up, your childhood, you grew up, you said you grew up poor, but lots of love was in your home. Your mother had very strong faith in God, and going to church wasn't a choice for the family. And it seemed like almost everybody, especially in the Black community, grew up, girl, going to church. My mama had strong faith. We grew up going to church. Thank God that we grew up going to church. But sexual abuse started at an early age by different family members. I want you to talk about that. Talk about that, and talk about what happened to you by the age of three by a family member playing, well, by a friend of the family when you was playing hide and go seek.
Yeah, we were playing hide and go seek when I was a little girl. That was one of the most popular games that everybody played. And we lived on a street that we actually moved on three separate times. And there's a guy who was supposed to be a very good friend of our family. I was hiding in my mom and dad bedroom. And he came in there and he said, I have nowhere to go. So I was telling him he could hide in there with me. And he came in and first we kneel down on the bed giggling, they can't find us, they can't find us. And then he began to touch me places that my mother had always told us, like when she would bathe me, she would say, no one is to touch you here, no one, which was the breast. And she would touch my backside, the buttocks, no one is to touch you there. And then your vagina, she would say, no one is to touch you there. And she was like, no one is to ever touch you in these places. If they do, you tell me. So I knew from what she told me every day, when she bathed me, she would always tell me, no one has ever touched you there, to tell her. So I knew what he was doing was wrong
Mhm.
because she'd already told us no one is to touch you there. And so I felt violated. Well, I didn't know what violating was at 3, but I felt so like he did me so wrong. And, I was pushing him, don't touch me, don't touch me. Why are you touching me? My mom said no one could touch me there. And so I started screaming, and he put his hand over my mouth. And right after that, some of the other kids busted in the room, and I started crying, and I ran out the room. And so I remember that that was 3 years old.
Oh wow.
And I remember just the feeling of anxiety, didn't want to play the games anymore. You know, I just remember life changed for a while for me with that. But the innocence of a child, like they say, thank God I was able to play again with the children and stuff. But I never dealt with him anymore. Like everybody noticed, I never wanted to, in kickball, baseball, anything. I never wanted nothing to do with him. So that was my way of trying to alert somebody that something wasn't right.
So did you tell your mom or another adult about what happened to you?
No. Mm-mm.
So the little kids that burst in the room, were they suspicious of anything was happening, or what was
I
their
think that
reaction?
everybody was so busy hollering, screaming, trying to hide. I don't think they noticed. They were so busy in their own world trying not to get caught by the person that's after all of us. And you got to try to make it to base and tag it. I think they were so busy doing that. And see, my mom and dad room was off limits. But being that me and my brothers and sisters were their children, we went in their room. So that's actually how the kids end up because they was following my siblings, you know. So no, I didn't tell because my mom always said if somebody touch you or your brothers or sisters, I'm gonna kill them. So I didn't tell because I didn't want her to hurt anybody.
Yeah, because at 3 years old, that part was drilled in your head. Okay, if I tell my mom on you, she's gonna kill you. Really, literally kill you. So at three, I didn't understand that at 3 years old, literally thinking, that would really happen. Not
Right.
really understanding the concept of what it was that she was saying. So you have a sister that's diagnosed with an intellectual disability. You mentioned growing up with a mentally challenged sister. You had to defend her a lot against friends in the neighborhood. Talk about that.
Yeah, she's deceased now. She passed last
Oh, I'm
year,
sorry to hear that.
tragically in a nursing home due to neglect,
Oh,
allegedly. Let me throw that out there. Um, but the children, they always wanted to get a rouse out of her because she would always be hitting somebody, and they seem to enjoy that. And so kids that they got mad at you in the neighborhood, they would say, "Oh, you're a retarded sister. Oh, your sister, her sister's crazy. Don't go over their house. Their sister's crazy. She's retarded." It was stuff like that. You had to always explain to people, your friends, before they came over, that I have a sister with a challenge. She's special. She did a lot of cursing too.
mm,
And so you always had to warn people, but I always felt the need to protect her, me and the other siblings. We never would let anybody harm her. Actually, we had to worry about her harming people, but we didn't let people make fun of her. That wasn't cool, and it wasn't going to be tolerated by us. Back then, when I was a little girl, it's like people put the special people away.
yeah,
The parents, I was even told some parents locked them in the attic, and they weren't allowed to be with the rest of the family. But my mother never did that. She took her where we went, the places she could take her because she would misbehave.
yeah,
But there were times that, we just took her and we did the best we could with her wherever we were, take turns trying to keep her calm and stuff like that.
yeah. Okay. Mm. What's a horror? Um,
Yeah.
at the age of 7, you and your mom was going upstairs. You were 7, and the same sister was 17 years old at the time. So you all was going upstairs and to your sister's room, if I'm not mistaken, and your mom found a family member having sex with this same young lady.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Yes. I was always a mom, girls. Everywhere my mom went, I went. And we were going upstairs and we heard this noise, and my mom was like, be quiet. And it sounded like a sexual noise. And my mom was like, be quiet. And we started tiptoeing up the steps. And when we got to the room, one of her uncles was having sex with her. And so my mother lunged at him, to attack him. And he jumped down the steps and she jumped down the steps and I did, but he ran, and my mom, she couldn't outrun him. And he ended up abruptly moving out of state and he moved away. And we heard that a few years later, after he moved away, that he had got robbed and stabbed, and his life was never the same. And um, he ended up passing away.
So did your mom report that with her being mentally challenged that actually he was raping her?
No, she didn't report it. Why she didn't, I don't know, but she didn't. But she did say God is going to take care of him. God is going to fix it. He's going to make it right. And um, I just believe God made it right. I know
So
God don't do bad things to people. That's not what I'm saying.
yeah.
But, he had been bothering her for a while. And so uh, some
And
people
it makes
say
you wonder why would he, being a grown man and knowing that, your sister was
his
mentally
niece.
challenged, why would he even I guess I can't wrap my mind around why would he want out of all the women in the world that he could go out and be with, why would he choose, her that can't give consent? You know what I'm saying?
Well, she was very shapely. She was very shapely. And I think because she couldn't articulate and he knew it, even though she could talk, she couldn't articulate and say, he raped me, he touched me. She couldn't verbalize what he did, which to me made her an easy prey for him.
Yeah, yeah. And could y'all tell in any way, shape, or form if she was traumatized by this, or did she show any, I guess, reactions that maybe she was
The only
traumatized?
thing I remember is to me, it made her more sexual. So she did things to let us know her body was desiring sex. But I don't remember her seeming traumatized. I don't remember
Okay.
that part. I don't
Okay.
I No, I just don't remember that part. What bothered me is in life that the women that are attacked, the families want you to be quiet. Don't tell, shush. What goes on in this house stays in this house. And so the victims have to suffer
Yes.
and deal with PTSD and anxiety and depression and insecurities and never feel safe in this world. And that's the sad part.
That's really the sad part, because just like you're saying, back in the day, and I don't know why the older people would do this. Back in the day, just like you said, they would say, shh, don't talk about that. What done in
Yeah.
the house, stay in the house. Don't talk about that. But then yet the molestation and the incest and all that stuff was still taking place.
Yeah.
And they tell you hush hush, be quiet about it, so you couldn't talk about it outside of the house. You couldn't go to the cops and say I'm being raped. You couldn't do any of that stuff,
No.
because it dealt with family, because it was happening from family members. And
Right.
dads raping their daughters. And I guess back then you didn't hear much of little boys back then being, dealt with, and sexually.
Yeah.
But the girls were being sold to family members and all kind of crazy stuff like that. But because not only were you and your sister raped, but other family members was raped and or molested, by family members. So do you think that your family was targeted for sexual perversion, rape, molestation, and incest, stuff like that? You know?
I often wondered that I believe some of it is a generational curse. And I know I'm determined to be a curse breaker for
Yes.
my family.
Yes.
I believe is um because the family members turn their head, they sweep it under the rug, they want to pray it away, um, that it the cycles continue. But if you're gonna have healthy children, then you have to deal with the issues that are brought to us, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. You can't, of course, pray. You take it to God, but He's given us psychiatrists and therapists and even medication for a reason. And
Mm.
we don't deal with mental health in the African American community the way we need to. You shunned if someone in your family has mental problems, be it mental retardation, severe depression, ADHD, whatever it is. Instead of rallying and educating ourselves so that this person can have the fair chance to grow into their purpose and grow healthy with the tools to be successful, to understand what they're dealing with, we too often want to just sweep it under the rug.
Mm-hmm.
And so even as I talk to some family members about things that happen, you know, basically some of them let me know, if you ever talk about this, I ain't gonna really deal with you no more. Well, then don't deal with me, because you haven't suffered the traumas that I've had. I was
Yes.
raped repeatedly as a teenager for a month while I was in Florida with no control. Kept going to the doctor because it was giving me terrible bladder infections, and I'm crying, telling the doctor. He was like, "You got to stop being so fast." And I'm like, "I'm not being fast. I'm not sharing myself. I'm staying with this lady that's like a sister temporarily. I'm giving this man every clue, and he just still blew it off and just stopped being fast and give me medication. He never
So without
considered
you,
if this, he, and I was hoping that he would consider my tears and listen to me, you know. And I told the lady who I was staying with, and she basically blew it off and tried to say I was fast, and I was like, no, no, I was not. You kept leaving me home with your stepson because she was cheating on his dad. You're leaving me home, you know. Um, it was a very tough time for me. And I didn't tell my parents what happened to me until I was 27 years old. But
and
they
what
knew
did
I
you
was
say?
kidnapped, but I never told them about the rape because I got the same lady put me in a truck with the guy who was raping me to bring him home to North Carolina where he lived and me to Virginia. And I had no other way to get home. And so the kidnap occurred because when we took the guy to North Carolina and I called home to Virginia to ask them to come get me from North Carolina, I was told my mother had a stroke and was at the hospital. So he was like, Virginia's only 2.5 hours from here. Come on, I'm gonna hurry up and get you home. And then as we get in the truck, I noticed a sign that said last exit to Norfolk. And that's when he pulled out the biggest knife I ever seen before, telling me I'm gonna rape you, I'm gonna sodomize you, and then I'm gonna cut your head off, chop you up, and throw you in the woods, and nobody ever gonna find you. And that's when I discovered God was real for real. Because I asked God, I said, I go to church and my mother talk about you, but I need to know for myself if you're real. And I said, if you was to save me from this, I will serve you all the days of my life. And after I said that, God took his hand and put it on my head. And I felt this warm, calming sensation as if this soft, warm lotion almost was covering my whole body. And a peace came over me that I can't even describe. And that's when I knew, excuse me, that's my son calling. Let me decline his call. Um, excuse me. He couldn't find it. Um, but that's when I knew that God was real for real. And I knew that I was gonna be okay. And God even worked a miracle. When I got out and I told him I had to use the bathroom and we pulled into an Exxon station in Carmel Church, Virginia. It was a state police there. And I jumped out while the truck was moving and ran to the state police and I told them what happened. And so that was God even working to have the state police there. And so I'm a miracle, and I'm here today with the all the little perks that I deal with, from the PTSD to anxiety sometime, and even depression. But I thank God that he's bigger than anything that I deal with. He's greater, and his word is prominent and is trustworthy. And so I put the word on it, and I try to tell other people that you're not the only person that's been through this, but God will be with you. He'll deliver you, he'll heal you, he'll bring you out. So
Let's
I'm just so thankful that I made it through.
amen.
Everybody don't make it through.
Everybody don't make it through. Let's back. Let's back.
Something is wrong. It sounds really scratchy. I can't hear you clearly.
You can't hear me clearly. Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you clearly at all.
And maybe something with your phone. Uh, but I said let's back.
I don't even know what you're saying, so I don't know how to respond.
Okay. If you could read the
You want
side.
me can
Okay.
if you can understand me clearly, can you shake your head, please?
I can understand you. I can understand you. Um,
You do?
I do.
Okay. So you think when my son called that it did something that I can't understand you?
It may be your Wi-Fi.
It might be the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it may be the Wi-Fi, your Wi-Fi.
Because my phone is showing 5G. It's showing a strong signal.
Can you hear me?
Oh boy.
But while she dealing with her phone, y'all, it's so important that when you're going through stuff that you're going through, that if somebody is continuously uh, uh, molesting you or raping you continuously, open your mouth and say something to somebody. Can you hear me?
I can hear certain words as you come through, but from what I did hear, it seemed like you were saying open your mouth and tell somebody.
Open your mouth and tell somebody uh, with
Exactly.
with you being raped, because it makes me wonder if he said this to you. I don't know if you can understand me, but if he said that he's gonna stab you, cut you up, throw you in the woods, it makes me wonder. Now I'm not saying, y'all, I'm not saying that this is what he did. What I'm saying is that it makes me wonder how many other people, him being a truck driver, how many other people have this man or women that this man have picked up and could have possibly, I'm not saying he did, could have possibly cut them up, raped them, uh, and threw them in the woods somewhere and nobody ever found their body. Could these some of the missing girls on the truck route that he could some of these missing people be some of his victims? I'm just asking a question. I'm not saying this to be so, but to say that to Katrina, that this is what he's gonna do. So evidently she's not the first victim. So I'm just speculating. I'm not saying this is what this man did or anything. So don't go saying she said this and she said no, that ain't what I'm saying. I'm just wondering. It's just something flying through my mind. How many other women, how many other people have been a victim of this man that you see on these posters, that you see on the milk carton, that's missing? Could they be victims? Could be some of his victims or whatever. I don't know. But anyway,
But you got
Katrina.
that's a valid point. Very and what make it worse, once I was at the gas station and I called her, the lady in Florida, and I told her what happened. She got upset. She was with him, right? So she calls his girlfriend three-way, and she's performing because she's upset that he did this. The girlfriend instantly started telling me that I was a liar, that she had three beautiful daughters. Why would he want me? Um, and when she had three beautiful daughters, and she defended him. And now I'm at a gas station, gotta wait to um get a hold to my parents, and they come get me, which was like maybe 2.5 hours away. He had all my money. So I'm at an Exxon gas station with no money
So stop
in the
right there,
summertime.
Katrina. And we're going to take that up and we're going to start right there. You're at the gas station in part two.
Okay.
Can you hear me? So we're going to
Yes.
start right there in part two. So Katrina, I just thank you so much for being on the show. And if anybody would like to get in contact with Katrina, you can call me or email me at 775-776-2987 or send me an email to iheartministries@gmail.com. And I want you also to please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's I Heard Ministries, Saturday 4.22 guest towns. And if let's be real about it, been a blessing to you, please consider sending a love offering to $ Mildred Towns. And also, y'all, I want y'all to join us every morning at 7:30 for morning prayer. Every morning at 7:30. The call-in number is 605-313-5885. That's 605-313-5885, and the number to get in is 881-878. And we will highly appreciate you joining us every morning, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You can contact I Heart Ministries. He showed the phone number and email earlier at 757-776-2987, or email me to order my book Truth and the brochure A Cry from the Wound, and to contact me about any information that you may need. My book is my autobiography. It tells my crazy life story, and also A Cry from the Wound. If you in between having an abortion and you trying to make that decision, please get A Cry from the Wound. I also want to give special thanks to my viewers who watched the show. And until next week, may God bless you and keep you. I'm Mildred Towns. Thank you for watching.
What up, y'all? It's your boy back on stage. We here at J&K Style and Grill with my name, man.
J&K Style Grill, home of the original waffle burger, stuffed wings, and Philly steak egg roll.
The food was amazing, man. I'm talking about collard green stuffed chicken, mac and cheese stuffed chicken, waffle burger with the special sauce.
With the special sauce.
Come on, man. What are you doing if you ain't eating here? You're wasting your life.
Pull up.
J&K Style Grill, you can copy the style.
But never the best.
We got it.
We got
Hey.
it.